From strange starfish and gorgeous gastropods to scary long worms and sea scorpions, here are 16 of the weirdest tide pool creatures. When you walk along the seashore, you're walking in the intertidal zone. At high tide, that area is underwater, and at low tide, it's above water. When shallow pools of seawater form on the rocky shores, they're called tide pools or rock pools. Marine animals that live within these pools are very adaptable to the area's environment. They have to be hardy creatures in order to withstand the constant changes within their environment, which can be hazardous. That includes strong currents and waves and exposure to predators. Ironically, these organisms depend on those hazardous changes for food. Don't worry though, humans aren't on the menu. Not that we know of, anyway. Number 16. Speckled sea louse. Its specific name in Latin translates as beautiful, which might prove that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. These isopod crustaceans are found on sandy shores in the northeast Atlantic, but you'll have to look hard to find them. The largest of them grow to 8 mm, about 1/3 of an inch, and their greyish-brown colour can serve as camouflage. The black spots on its body inspired the creature's common name. Number 15. Grunion. These sardine-sized fish are only found off the coast of California in the US and Baja California in Mexico. They're best known for their unusual mating methods that occur during high tides. After the females lay their eggs in the sand, the male will wrap himself around her and fertilize the roe. The eggs stay hidden for the next 10 days, after which they hatch at the next series of high tides. Then the juvenile grunion are washed out to sea. Events called grunion runs take place on California beaches when the fish appear. Licensed fishers will catch the fish using only their hands, but they're allowed to take as many fish as they can use. Number 14. Lion's mane jellyfish. Since these cnidarians mostly live in the cold waters of the northern Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, it would admittedly be strange to find them inhabiting intertidal zones, but it has happened, and we're including it because of an event that occurred in the 19th century. The largest documented lion's mane jelly was discovered washed ashore in Massachusetts Bay in 1865. That specimen had a bell that measured some 7 feet in diameter, 2.1 meters, and its tentacles went some 112 feet, that's 34 meters long. Not surprisingly, these animals are regarded as the world's largest species of jellyfish that's currently known. By most accounts, they're also described as the world's longest extant animals. Number 13. Purple sea star. While it's named for its purple coloration, some members of this species can show up in other colors, including orange, red, or brown. They all have 5 thick rays that can extend up to 10 inches, 25 centimeters. Tiny suckers on their tube feet allow these animals to remain attached to rocks despite heavy waves. If prey can't be swallowed whole, the sea star uses its feet to open up the shells of its victims. Once that's done, it engulfs the prey with digestive enzymes to ingest the liquefied food. They're found in waters of the Pacific Ocean and is often regarded as a keystone species in various regions. Scientists have noted that intertidal environments can be negatively impacted by the removal of only a few purple sea stars. Number 12. Striped shore crab. In the Western Pacific, these small crabs are found in Japan and Korea. They also occur along the western shores of North America through Central America. Around 5 centimeters in size, these crustaceans are named for the mottled, striped pattern displayed on their upper surface. Its red-purple claws along with the purple and green legs also distinguish it. As their name indicates, they spend a lot of time on land before submerging to wet its gills. Experts say they stay on rocky, hard mud shores for around 70 hours at a time. Number 11. Starburst anemone. It measures around 10 inches, 25 centimeters wide, and is found in intertidal zones of the northwest Pacific Ocean. Like another anemone on our list, this species is known to aggressively guard its territory from colonies that are genetically different. They use specialized tentacles with stinging cells that force its competitors to move off. Number 10. Black bears. This beast is the only mammal on the list, which might inspire you to ask what it's doing here. While American black bears don't typically inhabit intertidal zones, they will show up during low tides. That's so they can feast on various forms of marine life, although fish is their preference. Bears aren't the only land-based animals that will visit these areas. Wolves, raccoons, and deer will also arrive to forage for food. Number 9. Mossy chiton. These marine mollusks can be found on exposed rocky shores from British Columbia to Baja California in Mexico. More than 2 inches long, 55 millimeters, they're covered with 8 shell-like plates that are often hidden by growths of algae. In addition to algae, these animals are sometimes covered with a brownish sludge that resembles refried beans. But the chiton's inner surface is a turquoise blue, and some specimens glow in the dark with a pink fluorescence. Number 8. Buoy barnacles. Although they spend the majority of their time at sea, these animals can also turn up along the coast of southern Europe and areas of the British Isles. They were initially misidentified as mollusks, but they're really crustaceans. Barnacles are typically known to be immobile as they feed on plankton, but this species can engage in a form of mobility. They secrete a cement-like substance which resembles an expanded polystyrene foam. It uses that float-type structure to ride the ocean's currents if no other suitable attachment is available. They're the only barnacles known to exhibit such behaviour, and that sometimes leads them to wash ashore. Number 7. Common cuttlefish. This is a large and well-known species that inhabits North, Red, and Baltic seas. During the summer and spring, they venture inshore to spawn. After that, they depart for depths of more than 650 feet, 200 meters for the winter. Despite the misleading name, cuttlefish are not fish. They're cephalopod mollusks, and they have a unique ability that allows them to blend so imperceptibly into their environment. So much so that they can become nearly invisible. These animals can alter their skin coloration and create chromatically complex colors to match their surroundings. It's ironic considering that cuttlefish themselves are colorblind. If the camo doesn't work, cuttlefish will use a siphon that shoots water to propel them out of danger. As it escapes, it can also release ink to disorient a pursuer. Number 6. Long-spined sea scorpions. It might be interesting to imagine scorpions swimming in the sea, but this animal is not an arachnid. It's all fish and is mainly named for the long spines that project from its scaleless body. The animal's large head inspired another nickname, which is the long-spined bullhead. Given their small size, these are extremely aggressive ambush predators that feed on prawns and fish that are larger than itself. They're often found along the European coast and are becoming increasingly popular as a game fish. Number 5. Clonal anemone. Many species of sea anemones can be found in tide pools along North America's Pacific coast, but this one is the most abundant. While it's also known as the aggregating anemone, its clonal nickname might be a better description. They reproduce by releasing gametes into the water, which fuse together to create genetically distinct individuals. Those individuals settle on intertidal rocks and continue to proliferate. Scientists say it represents a form of growth more than it does true reproduction. A large colony of unique individuals can be created from a single individual. That manner of cloning itself could serve to make a colony potentially immortal on an ecological scale of time. Did you know that colonies of these anemones will wage war with one another? When colonies of different genetic dispositions meet up, it usually results in epic territorial battles. Number 4. Bootlace worms. A specimen discovered washed ashore in Scotland in 1864 is said to have measured 180 feet long, 55 meters, and nearly 4 inches, 10 centimeters wide. If that isn't scary enough, it excretes a thick mucus that is said to be toxic and is used for self-defense against predators. Large amounts of it are produced, and it's said to smell like sewage. While some of our sources indicate the great length of the specimen may not have been verified, 180 feet would make it longer than the lion's mane jellyfish, which is generally considered to be the world's longest extant animal. It's not unusual for bootlace worms to show up in intertidal zones of the British Isles, where they can become trapped in rock pools. If that happens, they'll try to hide within the cracks and crevices of the rocks there. Number 3. Lumpsuckers. These fish only inhabit rock pools between late winter and early spring when it's time to spawn. Otherwise, they live on the sea floor in northern waters. They have nearly spherical bodies with a bland coloration that provides camouflage. The lumpsucker's most colourful attribute might be the common name. Ward-like tubercles are displayed along the head and body, which inspires the lump part of the name. The sucker part is a reference to the animal's pelvic fins, which have adhesive discs. that allows them to stick to surfaces ranging from rocks in shallow waters to human skin. Did you know lumpsuckers are widely used in Scandinavian cuisine? Their roe, or eggs, is an affordable alternative to caviar produced from sturgeons. Number 2. Spanish shawl. Nudibranchs are marine gastropod mollusks that are known for displaying bright colours and patterns. And this species provides a great example of that. They're native to the west coast of North America, but they've also been documented in the Galapagos Islands. Its coloration combines a vivid purple body with appendages that are neon red and orange. While it's beautiful to observe, the animal's bright colours serve to warn predators of its toxicity. But if an aggressor threatens them, these nudibranchs can escape by pushing themselves off of substrate surfaces and into mid-water. As they strongly flex their bodies, sea slugs can make a graceful retreat. Did you know Spanish shawl refers to the fringed shawls worn by flamenco dancers? Number 1. Orange sea cucumbers. There are more than 1,700 known species of sea cucumbers. Many of them have leathery skin and are normally located on the seafloor. But this species is often found wedged between rocks and crevices of intertidal zones in the Northeast Pacific. Easily identified by its bright orange coloration, the animal is also distinguished by its branching tentacles. Those bushy appendages are used for capturing plankton from the water and bringing the food to their mouth. Did you know that some sea cucumbers are collected for human consumption? But it's not because they taste like cucumbers. That common name refers to the resemblance some species bear to the cucumber plant's fruit. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell for notifications for our next exciting episode right here on Epic Wildlife.